over Birmingham. Where are we?
We are actually on the top of Red Mountain, and the reason why it's called Red Mountain is because the dirt and the iron ore rocks in this mountain are red. And Birmingham is one of the rarest places on the planet that has all three ingredients to make iron and steel, which is iron ore, limestone, and coal. And the iron ore came from this very mountain. As a matter of fact, there is a mine shaft that runs directly underneath this visitor center that we had to shore up when we built it, but there are mine shafts all up and down here. So that's the reason it's called Red Mountain, and that's the reason we're here, and Vulcan's on the top.
Now, Vulcan, we must talk about Vulcan, a huge statue that you can see from just about anywhere in the city.
That's correct. Vulcan is the largest cast iron statue in the world. He's the second largest statue in the U.S. and the largest statue ever made in the U.S. right here in Birmingham. And he was made 103 years ago primarily to represent Birmingham's iron and steel industry at the World's Fair in St. Louis in 1904. He was sent there on rail to represent us, and millions of people from around the world saw Vulcan, and that was in 1904.
Okay, then after the World's Fair, where did he go?
Well, he was brought back to Birmingham on rail, and the city of Birmingham didn't exactly have a place for him, so they put him out at the fairgrounds, which is a few miles from here, and he stayed there unassembled for a decade or two. And then all of a sudden, the city leaders decide, you know what, we need to put Vulcan on a pedestal because he represents a lot of working people. So they stopped mining the ore up here on this mountain in 1924, and in 1936 they built the pedestal and put him up here on this mountain as a visitor center.
And you can see him, and I thought he was much larger than what you said his height was, but you can see him just about anywhere in the city.
Anywhere, because the top of Red Mountain where we are is visible from everywhere within I'd say a 5 to 10 mile radius of the park itself, and everybody can see him. And he's well lit up at night. So
now the monument has been here for a while, and then you added a visitor center, which was not here before.
That's correct. The monument was here, built in 1936. The pedestal, as a matter of fact, the pedestal was built by the WPA Works Progress Administration, and in 1999 the city of Birmingham closed the park because the statue was starting to deteriorate and cracking, and it was becoming a liability. So we closed the park, and we raised $14 million to not only restore the statue to its historical significance, but to build a visitor center to tell the story about Vulcan, because in the past people would come up here and they'd see the statue and didn't exactly know why he was here.
Okay, so why is he here?
Well, he's here so we can he's here to represent our past, Birmingham's past, that we were a big iron and steel city in the early part of the century, the 20th century, and he's historical, you know, showing all of who we were.
The strength of the city.
The strength. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I noticed at the top, or just below him, there's a walkway around it.
That's correct. We have a observation deck up at the top, primarily to get a glimpse of Vulcan at a closer look, because we're down here, and also you could see the city all around. So,
what will we see in the museum that you have right here?
The museum actually goes back, it tells the story of Birmingham. It goes back about 100 years. It shows how iron and steel is made. It takes you through the different decades of Birmingham. It goes through the 1920s, the 1930s. It shows the Depression era of Birmingham, and it even goes into the 1960s during the Civil Rights era. So we planned it to show what Birmingham was like 100 years ago and what it is like today. We're no longer known as an iron and steel city. However, we do still produce a lot of iron and steel, but that is not our main economy at this point.